is hard without looking it up. But what we do know is that it's the final day of these 2-2 teams, and every team here has some highs and some lows because their expectations would have been to make
I mean, let's get hype for TF1!
No, I see where they're coming from, because I think D plus Kia versus Weibo, I think, is a tremendously cool matchup. I just hope that the refs would have gone slightly different. I would have sacrificed one of the NA teams to BLG to get a TLG2.
Of course you would.
Or a FlyQuest D2, probably.
The reason that I think it's like another North American team, even though I think these teams could, in the right situation, beat a G2 or a D+, or a BLG. So it's one of those things that it's less stressful to like get one team through, but it's still disappointing that one of them's going home for sure.
I was thinking about it a lot yesterday because I love your viewpoint, but then I was thinking, just because I'm more familiar with TL and kind of their practice methods and the work that they have done, I am not counting TL out in a best of 5 versus some of the opponents. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're for sure going to beat a Gen G or anything, but I feel like they have opportunities. They could have opportunities, and I feel like hopefully they should look at that in the same.
You're supposed to do, but you don't activate the buttons soon enough. Is that correct? And how do you think you can fix this?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
I think it just comes from my practice. I think when we've been playing in NA, like whenever I played against Team Liquid, I could tell that they're like different teams. Like I kind of felt the same vibe as I felt from Asian teams when I played at Worlds before, but it's just in Liquid.
Just that.
That's a really good setup for this matchup.
And I'm very trepidatious. I think this is an incredibly difficult matchup. Because,
You don't think it was a lucky draw?
A lucky draw versus BLG?
I think it's a lucky draw.
I don't think it's a lucky draw. I think it's a very hard one. I think BLG has not looked great and have tons of pressure on them, but the same thing goes for a G2, right? I don't think G2, they have shown snippets of what they are capable of, even at this World Championship, I think. But you now have to do it under kind of the most pressure you've ever been.
Absolutely, and it's a little bit of a checked up chain LPL teams, has been level 1s, champion pool, and world-class macro. I think the other two can 1 and 3 can take care of themselves, and here's an example of number 2. So at MSI, the peak of G2, this is what peak League of Legends looked like. In just that tournament, they flexed all 5 of those champions, just in that tournament across different roles. At MSI, this
Okay, Jack, they can cook. I like it.
If they win, it's going to count, is what I mean.
Yeah.
By contrast, I think for me, I've been really disappointed with BLG at this tournament, right? Like, I think it's been really frustrating because this was supposed to be the team that we didn't have to worry about, right? Like, they were going to have a good meta read. As you can see behind me, you just listen to this. This is a translated fan video from iCrystal.
Unfortunately, we're true, perhaps. We'll see. Moving on to our next matchup, which is our first one, so let's build into that. And I have 2 people next to you who are extremely excited. D plus Kia versus Weibo. Can I just say, the 2 most roller coaster coded teams we have at World?
They really are, and I know that KT didn't make it to Worlds, but I think DK is obviously been.
Where's the confidence?
Yeah.
Okay, well I was gonna build to that, Jack.
Okay.
So, because for DK, this should be nothing new. This has literally been this team's identity for what feels like the last 2 years. Like they need to punch at the same level.
Laterally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do they beat teams that are worse than them consistently?
Extremely.
Okay.
So that is what I want to draw attention to. Plus the fact that hasn't really been discussed yet. Moam has come in, pulled up straight from challengers through like 80% of the year, right? Like this is trying to solve an issue that has been plaguing this team ever since Barrow left.
So is Weibo worse? Or not?
In theory?
We don't really know. I mean, I think generally Weibo have looked slightly better in my estimation than DK, but I do think DK has been, for me, the most consistent performer from Weibo across the entire year, right? Like, even when this team looks at their worst, Light is an incredibly strong AD carry, and I think then I did Weibo last year, even though they had that very dramatic run to the final. But I think the matchup with DK is super interesting because I just see both of these teams just wanting to fight, maybe not at the best time.
Normal level that we solved them domestically in the LCK, that's when I think that this match can really turn into the absolute chaos that I think we're hoping it becomes.
Yeah, it's when you look at kind of the previous results, I don't know if we can show how they're going to arrive at this stage.
It is, and I think what these teams do today will actually have, weirdly enough, a large impact on how people view the quality of the region.
It will.
Oh yeah.
Because every year we're like, how many LCK teams?
Yeah, it's all or nothing here, and when the pressure is on, outside of that final qualifier, DK have struggled.
I believe. Can I say that too? Like Blanc and TL both would have made it through if they didn't have to team kill each other. Am I allowed to say that?
The second match.
This is warranted.
Oh.
A T9 jersey.
Wait, this is the Fly prediction.
This is warranted,
Yes.
It's
right?
not okay, you guys give me your,
DK versus Weibo, who's gonna win?
yeah, no, your percentage, like the family.
I'll go like Weibo 55, DK 45. I think this is really, really close. I think it's going to be heavily dependent on draft, honestly.
Yeah.
Because if Weibo drafts something...
To that early game. I think that their mid to late game, even though they tried to fix it, is still just below the level that you need to be to consistently beat a team. So lean into that mid jungle. Try to get aiming uncomfortably. If you don't get light Ezreal, hopefully...
저에게 있어서 월즈는 정말 꿈의 무대이고 제 꿈을 한번 이뤘었던 만큼 그 감정을 한 번 더 주기 위해서 더 간절해지고 어느 팀을 만나든 다 부셔버리도록 하겠습니다. 我们队5个人也都是打了比较久，
Only one more step for BLG.
所以我们每个人都要带着自信去。就说挺期待去巴黎的吧。
我觉得我们如果能调整好最好的状态去迎接任何对手，都是不会害怕的，会给大家都带来精彩。